Guys, welcome back to another episode 8 of the Willoughby experience. It's hopefully y'all have been enjoying the game yourselves. So thanks for everyone who's been keeping up. I'm surprised there's even some consistent viewers with this. But I digress. We've been going very far with the park. We actually have the whole back end done besides laser and the water park, which we will do, but I need to actually get these time lapses out for y'all. I want to make sure I do them like consistently, but not too much, because I feel like the last time lapse I did, honestly, halfway through I probably could have just gave the time lapse. But now all things being said and done, hopefully you guys have been enjoying just the general look of the park of the Willoughby experience. It really comes together here, because I found out I really needed some planters, some soiling to really bring stuff together. Also, I've sped up the time lapse by twice the speed, so they should be around 20 minutes now. But yeah, this is when I think this is actually when this is the permanent location of the wooden coaster, because I actually have it open, and we have the name for it, the family wooden coaster, and it is going to be called Grey Wolf. Just something simple, you know. There's going to be a bunch of generic themes around here, just like laser. Really, the only one that's not too generic is, I guess, Cosmic Cow and Screaming Wheels, and even then, it's not like they're out there with their themes. But I'm just starting to put up some construction fencing. I'm not sure if it's a Zamperla model or the other manufacturer that makes those spinning discos or whatever, but this does not end up being in this location. This actually turns into a backstage area. And at the time of recording this, I did not know that the resort fence was a thing. Or, excuse me, the resort wall trim. I think resort wall trim 3. That has been my new work fence. Even though I don't dislike the look, it's a bit, flat in the look of it. It doesn't have any of the actual planks on the backside, but it gets the job done from afar, right? But the resort wall trim is basically some of that Planet Coaster 1 finagling, some of that magic where you use a part that really shouldn't be used for that part. Now, it's not as much finagling, right? Because wall trim to a fence, that's not necessarily the craziest item manipulation, right? But still, that skill is very strong still in this game, in the sequel. So I'm excited to get started with the water park. And I mean, Rand, we need to get all these time lapses up. I'm really upset that one of them, I was actually a high roller. Pretty on brand, but no, seriously, I was in the sense of I made a whole nice little drink quick service area, and like in the back end of the park, right after you get past Stoneburger and all that. And lo and behold, I check OBS, not recording the entire time. Luckily, that is the first time, and really, didn't take too much time. I was just in the zone and very happy with how it came out. So I wish I just could have been content, but you will see it obviously in future episodes. It's just not the building process of it. But here is when I finally realized something. It was a big step in my building, as in my scenery, right? Soil. I could have done this in the last game, but it's just some things, certain skill sets that you will just overlook, not realize until you get to a certain point, and get to a certain level, right? And I feel like that is the same here for me, because there's just so many times where I make a new park, and I always will try new things anyway, but I'm seeing like, oh crap, I can use this tool more efficiently, or I'm missing a complete aspect here with this park that can make this just feel more realistic. And I'm done with being the lazy, you know. I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna. It's worth it at the end of the day. Like, I think the looks at the end of it, when you look at the diorama that you've made, this beautiful theme park. Even though this isn't necessarily going for beauty, but you know what I mean. Just the look that you're going for, it's worth it. It's worth the effort, that little time, because you're gonna have that save forever, basically. Unless something unfortunate happens, right? You're gonna be able to have that park forever. Sure, you spend a few hours. I mean, for coasters and scenery, for dark rides I did in Planet Coaster 1, days. It'll be worth it though, because you have that forever. And that's the thing is, yeah, you do have that reason to go back. And the scenery brush, oof, is when I really start to utilize it, because this would have taken a good amount of clicks. Just so much life out of my mouse and my my clicking finger, placing all of these trees on the outside to make it look like a more full, because I don't want to use all of this. We're realistically not going to use all of this, so we're going to fill it out. And this Linear Brush made that so easy. I know there was a few frustrations at the beginning when people were wondering, oh, making your own brush and all that stuff. Once you make the brush, it's like, I think that minute or so deciding what trees I want to put out there, compared to like 30 minutes of doing all of that, maybe more. Yeah, that's worth it. It would literally took under a minute to brush all that overgrowth. And now we're just doing the front where you would walk in. We're not gonna be doing a parking lot or anything. Maybe in another build. I am definitely thinking of going with that. I mean, just because how pretty the game is, and realizing that because I have been running the park. The park is open. It is running. I have a save right before that, so it will show everything, no worries. But, yeah, after running the game for a bit, granted I don't have nearly as many guests yet, right? Running with about 3.5 guests, and all high settings. Granted, I'm using DLSS, but at the moment, I don't think there's an option to turn off the entire thing. I don't know if you'd want to. I think a game like this, it works, right? You're really not trying to get, I guess, the perfect latency, and even then the latency's still good, and that kind of a sharpness you want in a competitive game. But this is a game for management, for looks. DLSS works. So, on top of all of that, to get what I'm said, I will probably be doing everything that I said I wasn't going to be doing in the last few episodes. I will be trying interiors and all that stuff, even though I never really had done them. I will actually try to go flesh out those, because it's crazy that they made the game look prettier, but it runs better. At least so far. Obviously, DLSS, I feel like if they were able to implement that in the first game, a lot of people's parks would have been able to run so smooth. Because I remember my last park, my spooky park, I even tried to be thinking about resources there, and even then by the end, basically same old story. Once you have around 5k 6k guests, it gets pretty chunky. You're looking at a slideshow sometimes, which looking at the park overall is fine, but when you're looking at the POVs, on the on-rides and everything, it gets yeah, like the music is all out of sync now. Luckily, so far, I haven't had any of that issue, so that's why we will be trying to do more of that. Parking lots. I mean, I did a parking lot my first ever attempt in the spooky park, which I didn't hate it. I know going back in time, I will hate it, but that's how every artist is. Every person that does a craft, like, oh, I could have done this better. But they also understand they were not experts at the time. But it is great to look back and be like, dang, I thought that was great. I mean, yeah, you're proud of your first time doing something you thought was super hard or impossible, and it might have been, but at least not impossible because you did it, but it might have been very hard, and you're proud of yourself. Definitely be proud of yourself. But there is just the simple just walkway in, because really you're not gonna be looking at this part of the park ever. You're gonna be just looking at them coming on in, and I wanted to kind of simulate what it would be like after you parked and walked past all the main security, everything, and just are in the main entrance plaza. which would be very simple because, like I said, residential's here. There's Stonecrest is right there. They would probably have some input, if not some funding into this. So they're gonna keep it very similar to what, and also not overtake either. They don't want it to be too gaudy. All that stuff would probably be on the outside of showing all the. Now, one thing I do need to add is banners. Looking back, there's a few things I will be adding. Like, also a lot of these coasters, I'll probably will try to add some simple transfer tracks. I'm not gonna go super complex because I just don't know. But like I say, the more I do them, the more it gets easier. But the soiling, looking back at so many of my parks, it really brings so much to life. Now, there might have been a lot of built-in soil with the flowers, but the crazy in me wants me to almost go back to the Planet Coaster World Parks and just see. But maybe a few years down the line when we're really bored. But for now, just finishing this stuff up back here. I realizing, okay, we have some. What I got excited about too is there's the different soil types, and this is the little nerd, the scenery nerd is coming in. It's like, oh yes, like there's a lot of different ways and different looks. Now we're going with the kind of newer mulch look, the newer soil, as if everything's been placed very recently. So that's why we're going with the more brighter one. But there is a darker one that I think gives a more, it's more drab, more realistic. Like it's been sitting there for quite a bit of time now. Even more probably used in like woodland for bigger trees too. So I thought that was I can't wait to use that in Willoughby World, because Willoughby World is when I'm trying to truly utilize everything I learned in this park and go gung ho, make big rides, make big awesome looking buildings. And even then, I still want to go with the generic theme, right? That's what I always did. I grew up, my home park's Kings Dominion, Six Flags America, unfortunately. But also Busch Gardens Williamsburg. So it's like I've seen a lot of. I've been around very foresty parks, very generically themed and just stylized parks, and all the way back to Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, that's just the parks I've made. This is very... Now, it's definitely going to be foresty, but it's probably still going to have some tropes, like, of real parks, like, why did you get rid of all these trees and did not keep any of the shade? Oh, we didn't think of that. Just stuff like that. Because I would notice... I notice that stuff all the time when I'm at the parks. All the time. I'm like, where's the shade? Like, where are the water fountains? Where are the bathrooms? And then there's times where I'm like, I'm a luxury park because I'm having too many bathrooms and trash cans and all this stuff. Well, speaking of trash cans, that winter update needs to come, not just disregard any other fix besides the bins, because running a park, it is tilting. It is so tilting that your park is just a filth. Because it's bugged right now, and they don't pick up any of the bins. They don't empty any of them. And honestly, is that really a December update? Wait, like, is that not like a quick little hot fix like you did with the queues? Because that was very nice. I actually didn't play until they did that, but I heard people, you know, even for coasters, because I knew for flumes it was definitely messed up. But for coasters, it was messed up too, and rides, like, people just were not waiting. But now it seems like we're definitely getting queues. It's seen this park in motion. Can't wait to showcase that. But as you can see, we're just doing all the little details where it's truly coming all together. Everything's coming together in this time lapse, I feel like. We're doing all the backstage. I don't think we actually do the backstage until a time lapse later, maybe an episode from now. But after that, that's basically park open. So, like I said, the series really was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be in terms of... I thought it was honestly going to be a huge series. I'm just kind of doing this throughout the half of the year, but no, that might be... Willoughby experience might be done, because I know the back end is basically done. We just have to... oh, I can't wait to show you guys the go-kart area. Now, there is another bug that I hope is addressed in terms of the the tracked rides in general, because it's for coasters too, but the lapping feature just doesn't work. So if you set it to lapping, first off, when you first set it to lapping, it just won't let you set laps. And then when you set it back to standard or blocked or whatever, then back to lapping, it will then let you set laps. Well, at least you see it in the UI, in the menu. But when the coaster or the tracked ride goes, it will just end on one lap. As if you didn't even... So when you look back, it'll even show it says one lap. As if you didn't change it. You can literally go to the next menu over in the operations, or off operations, then back, and it'll just show that it's back to one lap. And I was like, oh man, that sucks, because I kind of want to hold off the go-kart area now because of that. Because it's really cute. I mean, it's dingy and kind of like obviously last thought effort. Now it's gonna be prettied up once I really get to it. But at the moment, it's kind of on the back burner because of how the lapping operations are working, which is unfortunate because I truly think that would be one of the first things that would be in the park. Is a go-kart track at like a family entertainment center, a big one. Now this is obviously pushing more small park than a family entertainment center, but... And also what I've noticed from my profits end game, going to the management aspect. Now I will get into the management a bit because I've been playing the game, actually playing the park and all that stuff. But it seems like so far with how the day cycle works, that you're actually profiting off. You can just profit off of having a park just be open. Like we're charging people a fee to get in only, just to take a price, and after that, you know, they don't have to pay for rides. It's just food and everything else. They don't have to pay for bathrooms, nothing stupid like that. And so far, it's been profitable. So far, it's been good. Because I was getting good profits, and I was like building basically the whole back half. Like, I was adding rides. I added the family coaster again. I think I actually replaced it again. But basically, I was doing a lot, and it showed the cost count, and I was like, oh wow, I made a lot of money. And it showed how much I actually lost. I was like, oh, okay, that's a good sign. That means if I'm just letting the park go through its days like a normal park, it would just be making a lot of dough, which is a good sign. Because in the last game, you would have to basically have sense of disbelief, like, hey, you pay to enter, but hush hush underneath, like they're paying for each ride, like, but it's just like, well, yeah. So because there was no way, it was just they would stay in the park for too long. There would not be enough people coming in and out. Now, going on to some of the other things. Overall, I do think the game feels more lively, but the management is just a foot deeper in terms of depth, and it already was the depth of a kiddie pool in the last game. So yeah, there's rooms for improvement. I hope there's just a big expansion pack on that. That would be awesome. A big update. Where it just focused on the operations and the backstage and the park management aspect. That would be awesome. Because right now I was excited to mess with power, and now I'm it's alright. You know, I feel like more players are having more frustrations with it. For me, it's like I have no issues connecting it or anything. It's just like once you get it down, it really is no issue, right? Just have them maintain it within a certain schedule. And yeah, and then also I don't like how ride breakdowns are linked to just how much you maintain the ride, essentially. Like, say if I have a maintenance man look at it every single hour, that ride will just never go down, essentially. Like, I will have to refurbish it eventually, right? But I don't like how it gets down to that. I like it when it's just a random, like, fault, which was almost more realistic in the last game. You know, it would just be a random fault. They got stuck in the station. Granted, it was always they got stuck at the station or something. Like, they never got stuck in the chain lift or stuck in like a mid-course brake run or something like that. But like I always say, if Frontier for some reason is watching this, that would be awesome for you to implement. to be honest. That would be amazing. Just the small little things like that. But yeah, I just, but Prestige, let me get onto that. Prestige is ruined now. I just turned it off. Because in the last game, I thought it was very good. But really, it can be improved if, and I might be able to change this if actually, I don't know. I actually checked in another park and it did not allow me to, but basically with how fast the day cycle goes, excuse me, not how fast the day cycle goes, how fast the year goes, because the day cycle is very long. It's like 2.5, 3 hours almost. It's long. Like, you're playing around all day, and I'm just like, I'm building around the whole thing while the park's going. I'm like, oh geez, like I built a whole, like, the whole back part, and it was only a day. Whereas in the last game, that would have been like a good month or so. Which, at first I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, you can truly see how the day goes out throughout the day. But then I realized because technically it chunks the season so much, right? So then I noticed, why is my ride already dated within 2 days? Yeah, because the season cycle works is every season is like 3 days. I don't know if you can lengthen that. That'd be awesome if you can in like the future or something if they have that. But yeah, it's only 3 days. Summer's 3 days, spring's 3 days, winter's and autumn 3 days. And I'm like, what? And then even then, no one's thinking that when Pantheon opened or when let's say when Maverick opened, you know, any of these rides, like when Steel Vengeance opened, that it was dated within a year or two. And then it's resurging in 4 years, and then after 4 years, it's like, oh yeah. I mean, maybe it's a classic in 5, but like, they need to have it to where you can like change that threshold. Because you were able to do that in the last game. They definitely need to allow you to do that in this game, because technically within a year, your ride is now aged. They would rather see something new, and it's affecting your prestige. So I'm like, we're not dealing with that. Just turn the prestige off, which is fine. I just liked how it, you know, added that little effect. You know, you would see them kind of coming and going as you saw a long-term running park. Well, right now, as you can see, we're just working on the Cosmic Dragon station, which is just a simple Viking theme, the first Viking theme I really used in the game, because I really don't have a reason in this park with a generic theme to use it. There's a bit of too much European theme, with the wood at least. So, and it has a lot of wood. So, in my next park, I might be abusing Viking in a lot of ways. We're gonna have a lot of woodland themes, southern themes, western themes. So, I think in that aspect, we will be using this quite a bit. That and the resort. Oh, the resort and aquatic. Oh man, very modular, very modular. I've been loving those a lot too. But as we're finalizing it here, you're seeing it's just a simple little fun dragon station in the kids area, or the kid ride, the kid coaster. But y'all, thank you for watching this one. Thank you in general for keeping up if you have. Make sure to check out the latest episode of the High Rollers, because that came out recently. We talk about all that IAPA stuff. We'll talk about it more after, but also check out all the earlier stuff if you haven't. You know, give the video a like, go ahead and subscribe if you want to keep up to see what else is happening, and catch y'all in the next one. Peace out, homies.